Greetings, weary travelers and fellow story gremlins. I almost forgot the second half of my intro. We're fine, everything's fine. To the Reaction Sleepover. This is the series where we get cozy and we react to stuff. And today is a extravaganza. We have a buffet of stories because there are different kinds today. I like the idea of mixing them up a little bit, doing different genres in one video. Thought breaking it up could be fun. So, be sure to grab your cozies and snackies and let's head on into it. And if you have any stories you want to share, either email me or there's links in the description. Who is going to bamboozle me today? You smell like you work, so you must work here. Where's the smell lady from Twitter? If you don't know about that, that is some fascinating stuff. She did a PhD about like smell and how that affects us socially, because it's a real thing, you know, when you smell something stinky and you think it's stinky so you don't want to go near it. Yeah, that has social impacts. It's very interesting. So I'm the pit master at a local barbecue restaurant. Master of pits. You there to make sure everyone wears deodorant? No wonder they thought that you work there. You're the pit master. Anytime someone's a little too stinky, you run up, like door greeters, instead of greeting, you run up and swipe them with some deodorant. Right down the face, not even the pit. You're new at the job, it's okay. Uniform is black pants and either a black or gray t-shirt with the restaurant name on the front. Ah, there's lots of smells at a barbecue restaurant. Sometimes they slip past you. But no more. You know what aroma you're looking for. After work, I often stop by Walmart to go grocery shopping as it is on my way home. Well, one day while I was in the bakery getting hoagie rolls. Is that how you spell hoagie? I feel like if you asked me to spell it, I'd probably do that, but I've never thought about it before. I don't think I've ever written down hoagie. Sometimes words look word. Sometimes words look weird. Sometimes words look weird. Sometimes they sound weird too. She appears, the opposing pitmaster. It's like a Western showdown, but instead of guns, it's deodorant. See who can run to your side the fastest and swipe ya. Now she had the typical Karen look and she looked mad and she spotted me. Suddenly the lighting looks orange and dusty. A Stetson appears on your head out of nowhere. She opened up with, finally, someone who effing works here. I of course ignored her and kept on with my shopping. Oh wait, because you're at Walmart. You're not even at the barbecue. I forgot that you literally said you went to Walmart. Pretty sure the Walmart, what is it called? What's the word? The Walmart uniform is with the vest. You're clearly not wearing the vest. Also, doesn't it say the name of your restaurant on your shirt? Well, she didn't like that and rammed her cart into mine. Excuse me. Don't make me go pitmaster on you. And started yelling, don't you effing ignore me, you lazy F. I need you to get me an effing cake decorated. I think you're looking for the bakery, ma'am. Good glory. That ain't a way to get service. That's fascinating that people will start berating those who do work at places because it's like, do you think this is gonna work?
I think not.
Sometimes the customer is wrong. You just silently grab a cake that you see on the stand next to you. I'll gladly decorate your cake. Smash it in her face. Look, personalized. I looked up at her, looked down at my black t-shirt with the restaurant name that is very distinct from Walmart. Looked back up at her, looked down at my shirt. Just the... I don't work here. Just trying to silently signal. Like, ma'am. Look at the fine print. It's not even fine. It's very large. Like this next cake I'm gonna throw at you just for good measure. And then I pulled my cart away and turned to leave. She kept yelling, yes you do. You smell like you work here, and grabbed my arm. Okay. No touchy.
No touchy.
How unhinged. This is a person who refuses to hear no. So isn't that funny when people try to convince you of something that is not the truth? You're just like, I literally don't work here. What? You just malfunction because you just like, what? How? Huh? You're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say at this point. I pushed her off me and told her to F off lady, I don't work here. It's not my fault you're too effing stupid to read my shirt or know that employees here wear a blue vest. Okay. Probably not the most helpful to yell back, but I can totally understand why that would be hard not to do. And also when a person starts grabbing you, I wouldn't know what to do in that scenario. I'd probably get out my deodorant because I'm sweating because this is so stressful. You always got to keep emergency deodorant with you just in case. She started following, yelling obscenities at me until the manager came over to see what was going on. She of course demanded that I be fired, to which the manager replied that I don't work there. They just stare at you just like, Who are you? It would be really funny is if they this was just the last straw for the manager that day. They had already dealt with so many ridiculous things. People and children screaming at them. Pretty sure children are people too. Whatever. They're just smaller. So just for kicks, they pretend that you do work there and they just take your side. Meanwhile, you're just there I don't know what's happening. And they started going back and forth on it. The manager waved me away and I went back to shopping. Especially at this point. Are you trying to argue with the manager that they do work there? How do you know? Sure, at that point, if she's saying that you're being rude back, but here's the thing. She's the one who initiated the rude. How fascinating. Maybe she's just in too deep at this point, so she just has to go down with the ship. A little while later, I'm getting ready to check out, and I see her still standing in the bakery yelling at the manager about how I pushed her, I needed to be fired, I was rude, and so forth. According to your account, she's the one who pushed you. Perhaps the reactionary, no, maybe, but again, who initiated that? At this point, I see 2 police officers come in. They have a quick chat with the manager and escorted her out of the building. She was screaming about suing the whole time. Ugh, girl, it's over. Please. I think I mentioned the other day, it's when someone, what did I say? It's when someone realizes they're wrong or they're faced with that they're wrong, how they react to that can often show character. If they are, granted, when you're wrong, it's embarrassing, right? It always is, and that's okay. But if you realize you're wrong, but as best you can take it with grace and just, apologize and then move on, good character. Stinky character, you do stuff like this. Put on some deodorant. Guess Zilla can't accept wedding isn't about her. Aha! That's right, we are doing a wedding story today. Bit of context. My wife and I recently held a vow renewal in Hawaii. We eloped and wanted to have a ceremony later for family and friends. We're both military and live in Hawaii and recognize the difficulty of coming out here, and we told anyone that could make it to use the time apart from the ceremony however they wish so it could be vacation for them as well. The maid of honor, I don't like them air quotes, flew in with her aunt, late 40s, early 50s maybe, which helped alleviate the expenses. We welcomed the aunt to the ceremony and any planned functions so she wasn't on her own. We first noticed various oddities like dominating every conversation to talk about herself and totally dictating their schedule when away from wedding activities. We also noted that instead of taking turns driving with the maid of honor, she would always get incredibly drunk, forcing her enforcing her hand. She later claimed this was because she was scared to drive here. I'm still laughing at the word slip. I'm doing that a lot today. I'm a professional. The maid of honor and her aunt would sometimes text about their issues, and the aunt would delete texts just to claim the conflict didn't exist, which only worked in her skewed reality, obviously. So shady.
No, don't like that.
Other small things like deciding to smoke in our backyard, small townhouse yard with 20 or so other guests, including children, all non-smokers. Ugh. And got an attitude and requested to move to the parking lot to smoke. The day of setup and the ceremony, she wandered around mostly on the phone in a very loud argument with someone, and after being told not to, came over to excitedly tell me about the mango she picked. Huh? Got a mango tree? Do mangoes grow on trees? A bush? I don't know. I'm sure it's a tree. It'd be so funny if it was a bush, though. That poor thing just trying to hold them. Already a no-no here, but the venue was not our property and would fine us for this, which was explained to her ahead of time. Excuse me, this is not a fruit-picking endeavor. Although that would be kind of a cute, I don't know how you incorporate that into a wedding, but it's if you went to an apple orchard or something. And the pictures, go in the fall? That'd be so cute. When we got home to change, she changed into a white dress. Oh. Some folks may not care about this, especially being a vow renewal, but we wanted to treat it as a wedding and found it distasteful. We brought it up respectfully, but she played it down and also claimed it was an $800 dress. I don't know much about women's clothes, but it was just a summer dress, nothing fancy. And we were horrible for even asking. Hardly horrible. Granted, if she doesn't have anything to change into... Well, if they went home to change, though. She probably has other clothes. The last weird moment that we caught was when my wife was talking to a friend who wanted to use some of our decorations for a baby shower. The aunt, without being prompted, started packing up tables of decorations while the event was still happening. What? No! I know that can be a thing, at the end of weddings, if you want to take the flowers from your table or something, some people allow that. You just take... No, madam, no stealing of streamers and tablecloths. She starts doing that thing where you rip it off, but all the stuff stays there. Starts doing that to everybody. These are mine. This isn't a free for all, you heathen. Do you see any piñatas around? This is not candy you can just grab. When they're doing the bouquet toss, or, you know, Valradol. Who knows if they're doing that, but imagine they're doing that. She just has all the stuff in her hands, like, I've got everything I need. Not to mention still smoking, where it was not allowed and being corrected multiple times. Come on. Just be respectful. After it was all over, she was crying to her elderly mom about how we were all so horrible to her, how we berated her, how the maid of honor wouldn't let her drive, and how the maid of honor, her effing niece, is a terrible mother to her child, and she worries for the child's safety? Based on the previous paragraph, I doubt it, since you were drinking most of the time. I'm definitely forgetting things. I've been receiving the audacity from my wife for the most part. That's my rant. Definitely not the cool aunt. Definitely not. More like the toxic aunt. The radioactive aunt. Radioactive. I just wanted a nice time. Need justification to purchase a box of tissues? You got it. Oh no. I've heard malicious compliance can be fun to read, so I'm looking forward to this. In my early 30s, I, now 40 female, worked for a university as a project manager. We were state funded, and therefore every nickel of spending had to be run through our department accountant, who was not terribly well liked. Oh, she was very nitpicky, would demand documentation on some expenses but not others, at least be consistent, and would be very condescending when she had to send stuff back for correction, aka done to her liking. It had nothing to do with being incorrect. I can understand, like, wanting to be consistent, but it sounds like she doesn't even do that. Rumor had it that she only got and stayed in her position because she was related to a board member, not the nepotism! That being said, I got used to her shenanigans pretty early and just did my best to get my purchases through her as quickly as possible so that I could continue my projects. Headache-free. About a year into my employment, I was handed a project that had been initiated by our director. It was a 5-year training program that was described to me as the director's baby. My manager got it off the ground and then passed it to me to maintain for the remainder of the program. I threw myself into this program not only because I enjoyed what I did, but also the director was cool as hell. I'm still friends with him on social media, on SoCal media, on Southern California media, and I wanted the program to succeed for him. I said that's so weird. Again, I'm a professional. Don't question me. I had a project coordinator that worked with me for detail stuff, like ordering supplies and working with facilities. My focus was on budget, content, and working with the clients. After she and I had run several successful training sessions under this new program, we needed to order more supplies of standard training stuff like pens, notepads, name tags, your immortal soul, etc. Something else was regularly used, per the director's request, was a box of tissues, which for some unknown reason was not something we could get from our office supply vendor. That's weird. Why? What was the reason? My coordinator had been buying them in bulk at a warehouse store with her purchase card and then storing them in the basement, only taking what we needed for each training session. That is like an office supply though. That's weird. When she went to submit the receipt for the new container of tissue boxes, the accountant lit into her about how tissues were not approved purchases. Which again is so weird. Even when she showed the accountant an email from the beginning of the program showing that the director had requested tissues to be provided to the participants, she stated that the director didn't make or enforce the purchasing policy, which is technically true. When my coordinator, who was normally a very bold and brassy lady, it just got an itch. Reading brassy, and she's just coming through playing like a trombone or a trumpet or something. I'm brassy and sassy. Every day before work starts, she does that like trumpet tune every time the military's getting up in the morning. At night before they go home, they play some smooth jazz. Came into my office looking defeated. It told me she was going to have to take the tissues back unless the accountant received sufficient written justification. I got pissed. I could have pushed the issue up the chain, but I didn't want to bother my manager or the director with this nonsense. Instead, I decided to do what I do best, be annoying. One thing I'm good at is writing extremely detailed bullcrap. I can elaborate on any detail no matter how small. I'm especially good at it when I'm mad. You and I would get along. You guys watch my videos, you know, I can talk about anything forever. That could be a fun premise, like, you guys give me a topic and I see how much I can talk about it. That's the whole video. So I popped myself down in front of my computer and popped my fingers, and in one go wrote a 5.5-page email. We did a print preview to see exactly how long it was on why we need boxes of tissues for this program. Think of the noses as if we sneeze and there's no tissue, it can get on the screen, and then we have to go to the bathroom, which takes away time to work. So we need these tissues so we can keep working. I never put in there because the director said so, but I listed off every other possible justification and then wrote a mini essay on each of those points. My coordinator was sitting in the corner of my office, giggling as she watched my hands fly over the keyboard. with a fury of petty energy. I sent the email around noon. Just before quitting time, my coordinator stuck her head back into my office to let me know that the tissue purchase had been approved in her system. I never got a reply to my email. The accountant never said anything to me or my coordinator, but my coordinator never again got pushback on buying buying boxes of tissues. She'll have all those tissues to cry into. That is weird though. Like, I feel like tissues should be part of like office supplies, like school supplies. I think a box of tissues was one of the things I almost always brought. Did anyone do that with their schools? Like you brought like school supplies? Was that a thing? I don't know. We have a feel-good finale from Benign Existence. Can I borrow your kids? I was taking my 3 daughters to the library last week when an older woman approached me. I was putting our books back in the return bin and kids already zooming about, and she asked me, can I borrow your kids? I was a little amused at her boldness, and I replied, that depends. What do you need them for? Carrying books, was her cheerful response. Aw, that's cute. As I began to say, of course they can help, my oldest daughter spoke over me and said, I would love to. Look what you've done. You've activated them. My kids lined up like little ducks to help the older woman carry about 5 full bags of books to her trunk. I spoke briefly with her. She is 84, enjoys Tai Chi and reading. She complimented me on my parenting, always a nice thing to hear when you are in the thick of it and not quite sure what you're doing it right. Like, apparently I can't speak very well. Not quite sure if you're doing it right. I hope to be like her one day. It was just lovely all the way around. I love little encounters like this. I do too! Aww, cute! Like usual, sometimes people are stinky, but then other times people are superb. Well, that is it for today. I hope you liked the salad mix of stories. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're doing well. But if not, I hope this video has brightened your day at least a little bit. I said this earlier, and I'm obsessed with it right now. Be nice to your noggin. Your noggin deserves love. Again, as always, if you have any stories you'd like to share about like these kinds of topics or anything else you think would be fun for me to read, either email me or there's links in the description to either like the subreddit or my Google form. Casting a spell to remember things. As always, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you all. This channel would not exist without you, literally. I appreciate that you enjoy my antics. I hope you enjoyed this latest sleepover. Take care of yourself and each other. Do your best to be a good human, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Peace out, gremlins.